What's going on, everybody? Gem Mint here, back again with another statue unboxing and review. This time we have the collaboration between ACME Studios and ACME Studio for their quarter-scale Hellboy statue. Before we get started, guys, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. You know we're doing a giveaway once we hit our next subscriber milestone of 150,000, and we're going to give away this Deja Thoris premium format. All you got to do is be subscribed, leave a like, and comment on this video, and stick around to the end. I'll give you more details on the giveaway. I was super impressed when I got this box out the shipper and I saw that decorative art box. Typically with XM, you just have their standard black box, but this one had a red Hellboy art box, which I thought was really sharp. Underneath, you have the white styrofoam that's held together with 2 straps of Velcro. And before we jump into this, I got to give a big shout out to the sponsors of this video, Street Level Hero. SLHLA.com has exclusive variant covers with new drops every Tuesday and Thursday. You can save 10% on any item on the store every time you shop there by using the code GEMMINT at checkout. Just like their sister site, that's SpidermanBooth.com, who has $30 mystery boxes where you're guaranteed 5 comics of retail value. Their current round of mystery boxes ends on July 7th, and one of those boxes is going to include the GP, the giveaway prize of this raw, amazing Spider-Man 300, signed by Todd McFarlane, the first full appearance of Venom. Use that same code GEMMINT to save 10% every time you buy a box. Alright, so just like with the other XM Studio statues, this one does come with an art print. It's got this fancy type of envelope, kind of like what Figurama does, and you have the string to untie it. So we'll get that on the box, and we'll pull out this art print by Mike Mignola. This is the art that inspired this statue. It's the cover for the 25th anniversary of Seed of Destruction. So very cool to get a Mike Mignola art print to go along with this statue. We're going to take off the straps and lift off the lid and see what's inside. As you can see, no tissue paper, everything is covered in plastic, but we did not come out unscathed. I see some damage. It looks like there is a broken piece on the base. Let's go ahead and just take a look at that first. So it's the head of the statue that Hellboy is standing on, and it's a clean break right at the neck there. Very unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead and use some Gorilla Glue and get her glued back onto the base. Lovely sculpt here. See how they sculpted in the hair. You can see all the different strands, that kind of somber face. Speaking of the base, here's the bottom of the base. As you can see, we got number 34 out of just 350 for the edition size. A lot of great detail on this base. Is kind of heavy, so we're going to take a better look once I get Hellboy assembled and we get to the review portion of this video, but great detail so far. There also was a chain underneath the base. Now this is a really heavy kind of chain. I'm not sure if it's metal or what, but it's got a lot of decent weight to it. All right, let's take a look at one of the left hands. So this is going to be the left hand holding the traditional revolver that Hellboy carries. And this is going to be in the arm that's pointing down. That's why you can see the strap at the bottom is face downward like that. I love the paint shading on the red arm. You can see the black highlights there. The sculpt of the gun looks great. And there's almost an identical piece because this is for when his arm is raised upward, and that's why, again, that strap is hanging that way because of gravity, right? So this is a comic book inspired statue. It's not the movie version. You can already tell with how scrawny that left wrist is. Here's the bottom torso here. A lot of great details. This is fully sculpted. He's got his pouches like he's part of 90s X-Force. You can see the straps around his thighs, the keyhole for his tail, his cloven feet, and of course his red legs. So a lot of great detail sculpted in here. He's got nicks and chings on his skin here. You can see the same kind of on the hoof. But very comic Mike Mignola style Hellboy here. All right, here's a couple of pieces for the horned portrait. This is the flame crown that's going to be atop his head. This is just the flame portion. Great paint applications, how it goes from that light kind of orange to the deeper red. Great sculpt with the fire, and this is the crown that'll go in the middle. Now, when it's assembled, it looks like this thing is glowing. The way they have this bright yellow and orange paint job on it, it looks great surrounded by that deep red fire. Then you have Hellboy's tail. Great detail in here. You can see kind of little lines and folds where his skin is bending here as his tail swoops around. Great color red, gets black towards the tip of his tail. We'll assemble that later. All right, so here's one of the left arm switch outs. This is the arm that's pointing downward, and you can see the sculpt looks great. It almost looks like real fabric the way that his shirt is. You have great shadowing along the folds there. And here's the other left arm switch out, which is gonna have his hand pointing upward, which he can use for one of those guns. And there's also a sword switch out. Again, the folds and the fabric look great. All right, so here is one of the swords. It has a great bronze shine to it. So many dings and chinks in the metal there. We'll get a close-up of the handle. It has some nice sculpted in details there. And this one has a sawed-off tip, which is going to go into the base. Now, there's going to be a replacement if you don't want that in the base that we'll look at later. But here's the sword when it's in his hand, and it's going to be resting behind his back. Same great detail in both the hand and in the sword. Shadowing, sculpted in detail, great paint applications, especially with that shine on the gold sword. Looks great. Then we have the top half of the torso, and this is where you really get the comic book inspired look, the Mike Mignola look, and he's very kind of narrow at the top, especially up to his head. As his head gets smaller, this ain't Ron Perlman. Here's the right arm of Doom, which has a deeper type of red, more of a stone sculpt to it with those coarse textures. His trench coat flows behind him, and that's a little bit of a different material. It almost feels like a PVC material, which I wish the base was made out of so we didn't get that breakage. Here is one of the 3 portraits. This is the one that comes with a cigar in his mouth. Classic comic book style, very blocky and stone-faced. Kind of interesting the way they decided to key this in. So the neck will key into the head. It's kind of like half of a portrait, it feels like. He's got his balding head with his ponytail in the back. And this is what they call his peeved face, his annoyed face without the cigar. So the second switch out option, it's very similar. Same type of sculpt, except he has a different expression and there is no hole for the cigar. And of course, both of those portraits have his shaved down horns. And lastly, we have the King of Hell portrait with his horns grown out. He's used the right hand of Doom to assert his power, and we're going to key in the flame and the crown on this when we assemble him. But I really dig this portrait. I like his horns all grown out. It has great sculpted in textures and lines within them, and he still has the peeved face. Lastly, like I said, when he's holding his sword, you can take this rock and place it in the base where the sword would go if he wasn't holding it. So that's a cool little switch out option. So let's get him assembled. You're going to put the torso, it's going to key in with a peg right here, and the other part will go on the statue. Now here I made a mistake. I put the top torso on. You have to put the tail in first, but otherwise you'll see that's just how the torso goes. We're going to start with his arm facing downward, and we're going to key that arm in there. And then we're going to put his gun in hand into that keyhole. So this is going to be one of the display options. And we'll take this opportunity to use the portrait with the cigar in his mouth. So boom, there we go. Very narrow as he goes upward, right? Just like in the comics, whereas the movies, it's kind of opposite. Here you can see a smooth transition to the other portrait. And of course, the King of Hell portrait, which like I said, looks great with the flame and the crown on top of his head. All right, so we could do the other arm option. And like I said, it's facing upward. He has the other gun switch out. So there we have a different look. Here's a good look from the side. If you switch it out, you'll put the sword hand in there. And like I said, it's going to rest on his shoulder. So that looks really cool, actually. And let's just do the tail real quick. Like I said, you got to take off the top torso. You put the tail in there, and then you can get the top half back on him. Got to be careful there. You don't damage anything. And then last, just the accent on the base. Like I said, you can put the sword in there and you can have that sticking out. But if he's holding the sword, that doesn't make sense. So boom, you can put the rock into that piece, even though it's pretty well hidden either way. All right, guys, there we have Hellboy all assembled, and he looks great. I can't imagine fans of the comic version of Hellboy not liking this statue. It stands about 24 inches tall without the horned portrait, which is going to make it about 25 inches. And it retailed around $899 with a low edition size of $350. We didn't really get a good enough look at the base, so let's take a look at that now. I think they did a really good job of differentiating the rocky base, which has like a brown tone, to that solid dark gray statue. You have all these leaves scattered about the base as well, which gives you that nice little hint of orange. And I love the detail on those skulls, Mike Mignola skulls. You can't have a Mike Mignola statue without skulls. So that looks great. And then you have the broken off statue. So many sculpted in cracks and weathering and damage, not including the real damage that it came with. You have that chain that's draped over the statue, which is a nice touch too, a good pop of shiny metallic along with another dimension added to it. And then you have Hellboy standing on top. So what more could you ask for a comic book version? Fans of the movie might not really like this style of Hellboy, but this is what he originally looked like. He's got the right hand of doom, which looks rocky and stone like it should. Then the rest of his body has that fire engine red color to it, with the kind of Mignola details that you would expect when it comes to his muscle definition, with that kind of rocky jaggedness to it. The statue has 3 left arm switch outs, 3 portraits, and overall, it's got to be the ultimate Hellboy statue if you're looking for one in quarter scale. But let me know what you guys think about Hellboy in the comments down below. That's what's going to enter you into the giveaway for our 150,000 subscriber milestone, where we're going to give away this Sideshow Deja Thoris premium format. Once we hit the milestone, we'll go live the following Sunday, pick a random video where I promoted the giveaway, and use a random YouTube comment generator to draw a worldwide winner. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, but don't go anywhere. I have a ton of other statue unboxing and reviews. I'll throw the playlist up on the screen. And you guys stay minty fresh. Take a look at Hellboy spinning while you leave. Peace.